Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's me, the Lou D. Oh, double G. And today we're talking about the new One Piece Fisherman Island remake, baby. So, as we know, all of One Piece is notorious for the terrible, horrible, downright disgusting pacing. And that is what honestly keeps a lot of people I know from watching One Piece. And so they've kind of begun to rectify it in the anime lately. And I know Oda has been a little quicker with some things in the manga and all of those things. But between Tohei trying to keep this anime weekly and Ichiro Oda being the kind of mangaka that he is, all of these things just compound and make things just really, really long. One of the main proponents of this, in my opinion, where I found myself dragging through an arc, is Dressrosa. Dressrosa is one of the most notorious for the pacing being completely awful. And quite frankly, what pushed me through was knowing what was to come, right? Knowing that we were getting Gear 4th soon, and so I was like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and watch every single character's facial reactions to everything that happens in this episode. Quite frankly, insane. There's this great YouTube documentary by a One Piece YouTuber by the name of The Grand Line Review, where he made like an hour-long video discussing the impact that the Dressrosa arc on One Piece had, and quite frankly, like how long it existed in time between it coming out in the manga and then ending in the anime. It was around for a very, very, very long time. But anyways, we're talking about the Fisherman Island arc. So Tohei, the company which has been helming the One Piece animation for a very, very, very long time now, has decided to reanimate the Fisherman Island arc. Now, this is super interesting. The fact that they decided to do this came shortly after Netflix and One Piece decided to partner with WIT Studio, who's known for making Spy Family, to reanimate the entirety of the East Blue saga, which is pre-time skip. And if you don't watch One Piece, there's a time skip in the middle, which is supposed to be like the midpoint of the series. It lasted about 2 years in the anime time, and it's a very clear point in the story where there's just animation disparities. There's kind of a good middle point of the story, and character designs, they're just different after 2 years, and all of those things. So it just naturally feels like a good point for these two companies to kind of animate. So it'll be very interesting to see and compare these two, like WIT versus Toei kind of thing. And the comparisons between Toei and Tohei in this scenario are also quite large. Like, the differences are absolutely insane. So let's get into the thick of it. First, I want to talk about the animation in general, right? The art of it. So right off the bat, as I'm watching this anime, I am noticing very, very quickly that everything has so much more dimension to it. And I'm talking shadows, I'm talking colors, I'm talking just like Wano-esque designs to impacts and things like that. And when I say impacts, I mean like the scene where Imposter Luffy gets hit with the Conqueror's Haki and he falls over, and there's just like this purple thing, glow around him, not glow, like explosion around him, sort of. And so that's obviously very different. Even just like looking at Luffy's eyes when he's about to hit that Conqueror's Haki, there's more dimension to his hat and his whole costume in general. And it looks so much better, quite frankly. Like, it looks so good. They've definitely taken what they did right with Wano and kind of implemented into a different arc so far. The main thing here is that I hope it doesn't completely take over, like the Wano-esque design take over. We'll talk about more about my worries slash like things I didn't super like about it. Now, moving on to the pacing. So the pacing is so much quicker. I mean, if anybody's familiar with One Piece, which is a fan edit where they kind of pace out One Piece in general and just kind of make it into a cohesive episode. But it feels a little bit like that. It feels a lot quicker. It feels like we're hitting those notes a lot faster. There's a particular moment where in the 4th episode, Luffy is pulling out his arm outside of his little bubble. If any of you remember it, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, he's basically in the scene. This bubble is like keeping him breathing, right? And he's about to hit a gear third. His fist goes through the bubble, through the air. I remember in the original anime, that moment took a while because they were just like holding on his fist up in the air for a while before they like switched to the next thing, which is like Sanji like kind of trying to save him from the Kraken or whatever. And in the new anime, they just go a lot faster. Everything just happens a lot quicker. Everything happens just a lot quick. Everything happens a lot quicker. So there's not as much of that stuff going on where you're just like I was talking about earlier, you're just like sitting and waiting on a moment. Things are happening a lot faster, right? So we're getting reactions from the Luffy imposter, right? From people realizing that he is either Luffy or not Luffy and all of those things. Like we're seeing people's reactions, but it's very quick. It's very fast. It's very intentional, it feels like. And quite frankly, I hope that as we continue to move on, they learn to like take a moment. Sometimes I feel like it's going a little too fast for my liking, and it's possible that I'm just like a One Piece fan, so it just feels unnatural that it just like is taking no time to move through this. But something that would have taken the original anime like 2 episodes is taking this one like one, and we're in Sabati, and then we left super quickly. By episode 2.5, we're like out. Whereas previously it was like 4 or 5 episodes, right? So like that's already great. And the fact that we're already on episode 4, like in the thick of it, in the ocean, heading to Fisherman Island is super, super awesome. Now, moving on to something that kind of concerns me moving forward is like, I've talked a lot about how I like some of the added things for Luffy's Conqueror Haki moments so far. My problem with it moving forward is there's this big scene in Fisherman Island where Luffy, I think, knocks out like 50,000 soldiers or something with this Conqueror's Haki. And that moment is so great, and I absolutely adore that moment. What I think the original anime did right was letting us sit in that moment, right? In the realization that like, holy shit, Luffy has grown. Luffy's doing so much right now. I worry that with just these kind of moments that we've already seen, even with like the too slow moment when the PX shoots the lasers at him, he just like moves his head back and forth and like quickly dodges them. I feel like in a way we didn't sit in that moment long enough, because this whole first few episodes is supposed to show, holy shit, he has grown a shit ton, right? And so I just hope that like as we move forward, the moments that were intentionally slow and the moments that we were intentionally like sitting in to feel the weight of continues to happen. Because right now I think there are moments where like I'm like sitting down and watching the episode, and I look down to grab a chip or something. I was eating like hot fries or something, and I look up and we're like, we've done something really cool, but I've missed it. I've kind of just missed it. And again, it might just be the One Piece syndrome. I'm like the number One Piece lover boy over here. You can see my light that's currently not on. And so for me, I'm like so used to everything taking so long where I can like, oh, I'm gonna pick up my phone and play chess real quick while this scene is happening, because I'm just kind of waiting here. That's kind of my biggest concern at the moment. But like honestly, if that's my only concern, then like I think we're doing pretty good. I think we're doing pretty good, dude. I'm more specifically excited to see the fight between Hody and Luffy kind of there towards the end, and to see how they've like kind of reimagined that. I feel like in the anime, the original anime, it just was very like one note. And yes, there were fine moments, right? But it definitely felt like it didn't live up to the hype too much. And especially now kind of seeing how we're towards the end of the story in general and how important that arc was, right? To the story in general. I feel like it deserves a little bit more. Granted, I also understand other people's gripes with the story being kind of like the weakest, right? I think Fishman Island, while I don't know that it's the worst arc, I feel like it's certainly not the strongest arc in all of One Piece. Definitely like a lower tier arc. One of those where, like I said, I would just pull out my phone and make sure like I've done my daily chess puzzles. You know what I'm saying? Regardless, I'm excited to see where it goes. I would definitely recommend that you check it out if you're a One Piece fan. If you're not a One Piece fan, I think you're gonna get a little confused about what's going on. But if for whatever reason you're a heathen and you're like, I'm just gonna jump right into this now because like I've already seen like the One Piece movies that like are supposed to like kind of speed up the whole like watching of the East Blue, you know, and Alabasta and all of those things, and you're like, you know what, I'm just gonna jump into this because I'm a heathen and I hate watching great stories, then like do that. I think you'll actually really enjoy the quickness of it all, and you do get over more than just the gist of it, right? Like you totally get it. So if you watch One Piece and you're like, I need something to hold me over while Egghead is on a pause until about April next year, I would for sure watch this too. I think it's one of those things where you're gonna find that you're surprised of the moments that you missed, right? Like adding those details, adding those shadows, adding those new animations are definitely gonna help heighten some of those things. That is my opinion. One of my honorable mentions that I kind of forgot to say earlier was the opening. So I really like that opening, the Ichi ni Sunshine Yon We Go, that whole opening. I like the original more, but hear me out. But I feel like as I'm listening to it, and I didn't do my research on this, it sounds like Luffy's voice actor is singing like the beginning of it, and then like other Straw Hat voice actors are coming in and singing other bits of it. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. It's not the original artist, right? It's the original song, uh, with new animations and stuff like that, and like kind of like new musical moments. But I think it works better for what this new Fishman Island arc is slash looks like what it's going to be. So I would certainly not skip it. I don't think it's a skip. I don't think the first one's a skip. I mean, the reason I think I like the first one a lot is because it's nostalgic, maybe. However, it's still great. I feel like some people are gonna like this new one better. So it's just one of those things. Like I respect that opinion if you did like it, although you're probably wrong. Anyways, that's it for this one. Let me know if you want me to keep kind of reviewing these as they come out. I probably won't do an episode per review, right? But like maybe I'll do like in chunks, like I've done 1 through 4 here, and kind of just like a general like review about the whole thing. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to review. Bye.